8:45. So guys, in today's news analysis, we are going to talk about very important topic, Panchayati Raj. We usually struggle in the papers as to how to dynamically write the answers on the Panchayati Raj bodies. So here is the news clipping on Panchayati Raj Development Index, which is prepared by Ministry of Panchayati Raj. Okay, so first thing first, a question can be there. The Panchayat Devolution Index is prepared by which ministry? Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, or Ministry of Panchayati Raj, or MORD. Alright, so these type of questions can be framed prima facie looking at this clipping itself. Okay, so you have to be thorough with this. Then USAID. As I said, there is an editorial on this. We are going to study its parameters. What are the parameters of this Panchayat Devolution Index? Okay. Then USAID, the controversy that US was meddling into the affairs of Indian elections, So we are going to talk about this today. Are we a soft state? That angle we did not see in the previous days daily news analysis. So we are going to cover that also. Then there is an editorial on this topic, foreign influence. So why the foreign influence is happening there? That is one side of the story. India is also emerging as a big donor country. Okay, $48 billion worth of aid since the year 2000, since Atal Bihari Vajpayee era. And despite that, we are blaming other countries because two political parties in India are fighting amongst each other. Congress is blaming BJP and BJP is blaming Congress. That how could this be allowed, right? In the light of this, as I said in the previous day's news analysis, that we can come across a question of the nature like, are we a soft state? Okay, usually we have to write dynamic examples for this type of a topic in essay. This type of a topic appeared in essay in 2009-10. So you can expect the same question, same type of a question in GS Mains Paper 2, GS Mains Paper 1. Alright, so what do we mean by soft state? International relations, basically this is the question of. Right, so what is the soft power? We are going to distinguish or differentiate between the two. Alright, what are the elements of soft power? Then there is another article, why there is a haste related to India-UK when it comes to concluding the FTA, Free Trade Agreement. Donald Trump is basically creating a lot of trouble for all the countries in the world. But because of the catalytic effect of Donald Trump's arrival on the scene, many positive things are also happening. You can say Russia-Ukraine war reaching a kind of conclusion or looking forward to the conclusion, right? Then Israel-Palestine dispute. Until the Donald Trump won the elections, Israel-Palestine dispute was raging and raging. But now we see a sense of peace at least, or peace in sight at least. Same is the case with Russia-Ukraine. Then on the totally positive side, you can say India-UK tariff war, because of the US-induced tariff war. We can see that some of the countries like India and UK, India and EU, they have increased the pace of the negotiating their free trade agreement talks at least. So that is there. Okay. Now coming here, foreign influence, this article we are going to see. Then there is an editorial on the misuse of some drugs which we are exporting to West African countries. So the CDSCO, Central Drug Standards Control Organization, has banned those drugs, cancelled some of the licenses. In the light of this news clipping, even though it is factual, dealing with just two drugs, but we are going to talk about it holistically, that what is the drug regulation criteria in India in the light of Tapentadol and Carisoprodol. So these are the two drugs which are pain relievers mainly. These drugs have been banned. They were being exported to West African countries. India has already been accused of sending the inferior quality drugs, exporting or selling these drugs to West African countries. Okay, Côte d'Ivoire, etc., etc. So we are going to see the India's drug regulation landscape. What are the agencies in the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Central Drug Standards Control Organization, National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority, Drug Controller General of India? We are going to talk about them. Okay, now, so I'm able to see your comments. If there is any doubt as we proceed along, we'll definitely take it up insofar as it concerns the daily news analysis. Now coming here, what a government study reveals about the state of our panchayats. you all must be knowing. If you are not knowing, let me tell you that panchayats in India are usually criticized for, the state governments are criticized for not empowering the panchayats. All right. We often say that states are not devolving the powers to panchayats in the form of funds, functions, and functionaries. Triple F problem, as we call it. So you can take it down. Any answer on this hovers around, any answer on the Panchayati Raj institutions in India, 73rd Amendment Act we are talking about, 74th local bodies. Okay, so triple F problem. What is this triple F problem? Funds, functions, and functionaries. All right. So the Panchayati Raj institutions, they are starved of it. All right. But 2018-19 economic survey, many other documents have found that the local bodies, the Panchayati Raj institutions are having no scarcity of funds, no dearth of funds. There are plenty of funds or the powers, functions, but they are not mobilizing it because of the fear of being voted out. If there is a sarpanch, he is a popular leader. He does not want to be voted out of power, because if he levies those taxes, if he actually wields the power, then voters would not like him. Okay, voter like or dislike. That is why sarpanch and these rural local bodies functionaries, they do not act according to the mandate of the scheme or mandate of 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. Then coming to the state governments do not want to part with their powers. They don't want to share their powers, okay, with these people, the local agents, because local agents will rise in power, because they will become more influential. So that is why MLA, member of parliament, they are state government functionaries or state level political party leaders, because we are having regional political parties. So with the advent of regional political parties, the charisma of a chief minister, for example Telangana, okay, for example Kejriwal, etc., the regional political party leaders, they do not want any other leader to challenge their authority. Okay, even though rural local bodies are the microcosm of democracy, they are at the minutest version of democracy we can see in India, but they have given many gigantic political leaders. Talk about Pranab Mukherjee. He started his journey as the Panchayat Sarpanch. Then talk about your Vilas Rao Deshmukh of Maharashtra. Okay, so many people have risen to that level. So many CMs of the day, they started their journey as Panchayat Sarpanch. That is why these Panchayati Raj institutions have kept within the bounds of state political party or state governments. They do not want the Panchayati Raj institutions to actually prosper in the sense of getting more funds, getting more functions, getting more functionaries. This is the problem in India, that local bodies are not empowered. The Gandhiji's idea, we are not comparing it to the Western countries. Gandhiji's idea of Article 40, okay, Gram Swaraj, we are not talking about that. At least give them the functions that they need in order to justify the expenditure on the payment of salaries to sarpanches, to the 5 punches that we have. Okay, so that is there. Now, coming to this, in this light, in this perspective that I've just given you, please, understand the article that follows. Now, please take a screenshot right away, because I'm using a tool which may not enable you to take the screenshot afterwards. Done. Now, 2024 index that the Union Ministry of Panchayati Raj has published. So, prelims oriented question can be which ministry or which body comes up with it. Question, the options could be, as I said, MOSPI. Okay. The other one could be MORD. All right. And the third one could be MOPR. Okay, then I can add another 2-3 ministries also, but Ministry of Panchayati Raj. All right. Here itself, I ask you a question: which ministry implements Swachh Bharat Mission Rural? Which ministry implements Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Rural component of it? Okay, so small questions linked with the topic. I'm going to link it with the topic itself. So I asked you, Swachh Bharat Mission Rural is implemented by which ministry? Swachh Bharat Mission Urban is implemented by which ministry? Okay, urban to you know. Rural, tell me this, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, rural, which ministry implements that? What I'm trying to tell you through these questions is that even though we have Ministry of Panchayati Raj, but these programs which come in the domain of the rural landscape are not implemented by Ministry of Rural Development. Most of them. Okay. Some of them they are. Manrega you talk about. Okay. So respective ministries, they manage it. Synergies are required somewhere, right? So that the same ministry which is looking after the affairs of rural bodies should implement it. Why shouldn't they be implemented by Panchayati Raj? Why MORD? Think of these questions. Now coming here, 2024 index that the Union Ministry of Panchayati Raj has published based on the study of Indian Institute of Public Administration. So Indian Institute of Public Administration based in Delhi conducted this study on the 168 Panchayati Raj institutions, okay, on the basis of these 6 parameters that we are going to see. Scoring has been from 0 to 10. So 10 means the highest. The blue area that you see here, the darkest the color blue, the more is the score. So you can see here the trend. South Indian states, the 4 South Indian states have fared better this year. They have scored more, all right, and the green score is lesser. Now you can very well understand why Jammu and Kashmir, which until recently, until 2019, did not have the same structure or did not implement the same Panchayati Raj Act in the right manner. So that is why the score is low. But you talk about these states, right? Then you talk about this state. Then you talk about this northeastern India. Panchayati Raj institutions are fledgling. Then why Kerala is performing so well? Because of the communism culture. Okay, because of the pyramidical nature of the political party that ran Kerala for 30 odd years. We are talking about Communist Party. So what they do is their local level office bearers or local party leaders will decide who will contest the MLA election. This is a bottom up approach. But in the other states, you see the high command culture. Okay, in Delhi, for example, Punjab leader, Punjab chief minister will be decided by Kejriwal sitting in Delhi. BJP also, out of the blue, Rekha Gupta madam emerges. Until that, the name was not there. Here, anyone who does the good work starts the journey in Kerala as a sarpanch, and then he rises up to the level of MLA, then he rises up to the level of chief minister. This is why Kerala is having the darkest blue color out of all the states and union territories of India, indicating that it has fared quite well. Okay, so this rural thing that is there, you have to understand why the culture that people, the grassroots level people, they will determine who their elected representative should be. That is there in every state. We contest elections and then win. But here the political party is so very organically linked that they decide who their candidate is going to be. Not only the elected representative. Then the candidate is, when the candidate is chosen in such a manner, that indicates the organic nature of polity at the grassroots level. The panchayat polity. Okay, so that is why the score. Now, you see these states, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, topping the index, and Uttar Pradesh and Bihar indicating drastic improvement over the last index. That was published in 2013-2014. 10 years gap. So this periodicity is also a problem. Periodicity of this index should be at least 3 years. 10 years gap is too much. Now, using these parameters, it studied 172 panchayats. The number is not important, let me tell you, in 68 districts. Okay, so across India to measure the performance of the Panchayati Raj index. So what are you supposed to memorize? 5 top states. Which state is showing improvement in terms of gender? Like representation of women in the Panchayati Raj bodies is above 50% in which of the states? That we are going to talk about. Now see here, 6 parameters framework. What do we mean by the framework here? We mean the constitutional framework, whether elections are being held on time, whether the financial powers that were supposed to be devolved to them, to be given to them, taxation power, etc., as per the mandate of 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, whether that 73rd Amendment Act framework is being implemented or not. Number 1. Number 2, functions. What type of functions are being assigned? We know that Schedule 11 inserted by 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act has got a list of 29 functions that should be assigned to Panchayati Raj bodies. Okay, you should be knowing these basic facts. What are those schemes? Rural employment, sewage, drainage, those kind of things. Okay. This is a live session, guys. This is a live session. I can see your question marks also. Why have you put so much of, inquisitive marks over there? It's live. I'm Zinda live in front of you. Don't worry. Now, finances. Functions, then finances. Are the adequate amount of taxation powers given to them, or are they dependent on, are the Panchayati Raj bodies totally dependent upon, these are Panchayati Raj institutions, are they totally dependent on the state government? Okay. So if they are, that means they are at the mercy of state governments. Mercy is never a courtesy. You understand that? I mean, what is happening is state governments would never on their own devolve money to Panchayati Raj institutions. So many good initiatives of the Panchayati Raj institutions, they lag in between, they get stopped in between because funds are choked out. State government do not get the funds from the union government. Manrega wages, sometimes Manrega dues, for example, are not devolved to the state government, and state government does not pay to the Panchayati Raj institutions. Recently, it happened with one of the programs in the education arena. Which program, which state was in controversy? I'll tell you the state, you have to tell the program. Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister was literally crying that central government is not giving the funds. So when those funds are not given to the state government, the programs at the ground level, they suffer, right? When the ground level programs suffer, what will happen? Panchayati Raj bodies are malnourished in terms of funds, functions and functionaries. One by one, we'll talk about all this. Okay. Now, representation question. We say that we often say that India is an underrepresented country. That means the number of MPs that we have is far less than the amount of population that we have. One MP is representing 20 lakh people. Talk about MLA, more or less 5-6 lakh people are being represented. Talk about Panchayat Raj. At least we can have more Sarpanch level functionaries, isn't it? Because MLAs and MPs, because of delimitation exercise freeze till 2026 or since 1971, what is happening is we cannot increase the number of our MLAs, agreed, and MPs. Because southern states will then say that North Indian states like UP, Bihar, as was called as Bimaru states, they will National Education Policy, that was. What is the name of the program? So they are underrepresented in the parliament. But we can at least we can at least revise the boundaries and increase the number of Sarpanch level functionaries, elected representatives. Okay. So here, as of 2024, 2.62 lakh Panchayati Raj bodies are there. But we come across the number that there are 6 lakh plus villages in India. Why Panchayati Raj institutions are less? Because Balwant Rai Mehta committee, LM Singhvi committee, they had suggested that a Panchayati Raj institution can be carved out for 4 or 5 villages combined together. Number of villages may not translate into number of Panchayati Raj institutions. So for if 5 villages, 1 Panchayati Raj body is being constituted, the number will be 2.62 lakh panchayats in India. This number has increased from 2.48 lakh. What is the number change? 14,000 new Panchayati Raj institutions have been created. Agreed. Agreed. Okay. But is it too much? Only 14,000 Panchayati Raj institutions in 10 years. That is the problem. Okay. We are again underrepresented. So here the headline is the representation question. In 2013, 14 and 24, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh recorded the most number of panchayats. Okay, so these are big states. Uttar Pradesh, a country in itself, right? Madhya Pradesh, a second country in itself. Maharashtra, so many regions, Vidarbha region, Saurashtra region. Again, big states having the large number of Panchayati Raj bodies is not a problem. Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. Yes, the storyteller has said it correctly, I would say. But in terms of average rural population per panchayat, while the national average was 4,600 around. You have to roughly remember the number 4,669. If you can be so precise, it is fine. But 4,600. Last time it was 3,000. So now national average is increased 4,669. So one panchayat is having around 5,000 people, 4,600 people, which is a good number, which is as per the LM Singhvi committee's recommendations, that one panchayati raj body should represent 4 to 5,000 people, which is a good number, right? So West Bengal, Assam and Bihar had the most densely populated panchayats. West Bengal, Bihar. Okay, so you can remember this. Then in 2013-14, Kerala had the most densely populated panchayats. National average of proportion of women representatives is 46.4%. So women getting elected as panch or sarpanch is 46.4%. Now, prima facie, should we go with this number or should we recollect the Amazon Prime series Panchayat, in which it is said that Pati Pradhan, okay, Pati Sarpanch, Patni is just the facade. The wife getting elected merely because of reservation is not a good thing, right? Because even though reservation is there for women, but women getting elected, but ultimately represented by the husband, so that is wife being a sarpanch but behind the ghungat, as per Indian ethos. Indian cultural ethos, right? So that is the problem. Actual sarpanch is Pati Sarpanch, Pati Pradhan. So that is patriarchal society mindset is there. But the analysis says that even in cases where women have been elected as representatives because of reservation, the condition of the other women in the same village is drastically better or has improved over all these years. Okay, having reservation for women has improved the condition of other women. Gender justice, separate toilet for the girl children in those schools where a female is the sarpanch. Even though Pati calls the shots, but women are also, Patni is also, wife is also able to ameliorate or understand the problem of women folk in that village. So that is the takeaway. Okay. So even though on the political side that is a challenge, but on the social side, change is happening. Okay. So see, the problem is the injustice of thousands of years meted out against women cannot be undone from 1992 onwards. We implemented our local bodies reforms, 73rd Amendment Act in 1992. In 20 odd years, 22 years, you cannot say that the injustice of thousands of years will go away. But incremental changes are happening for the positive. Then, the major challenges, independent studies have found that consistent funding and infrastructure problem. So I have cut short on this editorial. Let me tell you, this editorial tells that Punjab has got the highest proportion of scheduled caste people coming forth and getting elected as sarpanch or panch, okay, as political representatives. That is obvious because Punjab has got the highest population of scheduled caste people, with due respect. So here the problem is, what should we go into? Panchayat Devolution Index. What question should I give you for practice here? The question should be somewhere of the nature, what are the problems? Should I tell you about 2018-19 economic survey finding chapter 4? Yes, I should tell you as a teacher, as an analyst, because news, guys, you can read it yourself also. Sakshar Bharat, Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. You guys are the literate, the educated folks. So we come to the news analysis for the analysis. Otherwise, reading out of the newspaper is going on at 700 other channels right at 8 a.m. My job as the analyst here would be to tell you the past, the present, the way forward. So the past is, we have been struggling about this problem. Okay, let me first take you through this. The main challenge is they do not have their infrastructure, permanent office. What are we going to do with the office if real empowerment of Panchayati Raj institutions is not there? Agreed, sir? Everybody tell me, do you agree or not? Don't be the mute spectators like Panchayati Raj bodies in India. Say yes or no. Otherwise, sleep over. Here itself, in the comment section. Now, coming here, listen to me. They are saying that infrastructure is not there, funding is not there. Agreed. Infrastructure, you create a canopy type bhavan of Panchayati Raj bodies. There they will start playing cards because they do not have other work assigned to them. That is what happens. Or they would be having hookah going on over there from morning or evening. The point is we should give real functions to them, not to talk about infrastructure. There are Panchayati Raj institutions in tribal areas which do not have infrastructure, not even light, electricity, but they are still organically better than the states where Panchayati Raj institutions have their function, have their infrastructure, AC, fan, cooler, and corruption is rampant. We don't like that kind of a situation. Since this is an index published by the Ministry of Panchayati Raj, so it is carrying things like infrastructure is not there, this and that is not there, women representation has increased. As analysis, while doing analysis, we need to go into these type of issues, whether the gender being sought to be empowered through the reservation is actually being empowered. Number one. Number two, infrastructure is sought to be utilized for public good or just for the good of five people, sarpanch, the five punches and sarpanch, right? So that is the problem. Now coming here, panchayats in some states lack basic infrastructure. Only 7 states and UTs reported 100% of their panchayat offices were pakka buildings. The concrete walls and roof atop, that is there. This is what the ministry's viewpoint is there, right? But we need to go beyond to seize this opportunity, to grab this opportunity to study this topic in its holistic manner. Quickly, the fewest pakka buildings were in Arunachal Pradesh. This is all, I mean, the theoretical part of it. Let me add some more things to it. See, 2018 economic survey said that the tax powers that they have been given, they are not utilizing those tax powers. Why? Because, see, MLA far off from the ground level, Sarpanch quite near to this line where people get to meet his functionary. If you have seen that Amazon Prime series, it will tell you that if this is the Sarpanch, people can walk up to his house and can start protest immediately. No Delhi police is going to stop them, nobody is going to stop them. So if he would start levying the taxes in the right manner as the powers are given to them, okay, he would be voted out the next year. MLA is quite far away. All right. I mean, people from the village, the village area cannot go to the MLA's house. People from city also cannot go because he is an influential leader. Police power, SHO, etc., will stop people from protesting. But sarpanches are very close. They can get the vibe of the crowd. So they don't want to use those tax powers that have already been given to them. This is the answer to the so-called funds problem according to economic survey. We often say that they have not been given funds. Economic survey says that funds have been given. Okay, yes, Rinkia ke Papa phenomena, right? Then you talk about MP. MPs are always visible in your Fortuners. After the elections, you see Manoj Tiwari and many other leaders, they would be in Fortuner, even though my drawing is not good, but you understand the sentiment. So the problem is many MPs from Innova to Fortuner, the transition is there. Here you will see Sarpanch level people in at least Mahindra Jeeps, Thar at least, right? So the problem is they are near to the people, so that is why they cannot mobilize those powers that are given to them already. Okay, then another thing is corruption. Why people do not want to pay taxes, why they do not use, because outsourcing. Water, the Panchayat Raj bodies do not have the power to decide quality of water, to improve quality of water, nothing. The diktats come from, the orders come from Union Ministry, all right? Functions problem. Then functionaries, even a JE, junior engineer, cannot be transferred by Sarpanch, cannot be scolded by the Sarpanch, even if there are electricity poles or current issues or, shock issues that happen. Drainage system in the hands of state ministry, urban development authority, rural development authority. So these parastatal bodies, the parastate bodies, the state level bodies, they are managing the programs. Rather, these programs should be given to the bodies like this. Okay. Nonetheless, theoretically, some of the points are very good. Okay. Capacity building, whether the states are accountability, whether the states are conducting the audit or not. Capacity building, whether trainings are happening, frequent and periodic training is happening or not. Functionaries, whether the state Panchayati Raj institutions, they have their own functionaries. Can they appoint the Panchayat secretary themselves? No. Panchayat secretary is at the beck and call of the state minister. If the Panchayat secretary works honestly and does not give the cut above, the share of the corruption above, he would be transferred immediately. These are the problems that Sarpanch should have control over Sachiv ji. You understand? Secretary, that series that is there. So these are the problems with our local bodies. Now, what are the solutions? Dr. Manmohan Singh said that in order to statutorily, constitutionally grant powers, what should we do? We should have the fourth list in the Constitution, Article 246. List 1 is union, list 2 is state list, list 3 is concurrent list. Fourth list should be there so that constitutionally mandated items of powers could be given to them. Like states have got the power to legislate upon the subjects given in the state list. Okay. Likewise, we should have the Panchayati Raj bodies list. This was the idea of Manmohan Singh, even though Manmohan Singh sir also copied it from, or you can say quoted it from 2008 second ARC report. Okay, the previous reports also. So this is what we require so that nobody can snatch away the functions from rural local bodies, right? At their whims and fancies. A CM who is afraid of local bodies might snatch away functions. A CM who is confident in his skin as the CM will give more powers. This periodicity in the empowerment and disempowerment should be eradicated by constitutional amendment. So I give you a question, sir. These questions come extemporaneously. I'm telling you the phraseology, etc. It's not that we plan it. We plan it to some extent that these are the contours of the topic. Do you think that it's high time for LPG reforms to, rural local bodies reform 2.0, and that is why the slip of tongue happens. Do you think that we need to have rural local bodies reform 2.0? Getting my point? What should be the contours of it? If so, if yes, if your answer is yes, so what are the contours? What are going to be the elements? Constitutionally mandated list, funds, they should use the funds power, the taxation powers that have already been granted to them. Second, GST, because of the advent of GST, the rural local bodies had an important tax power, the power of octroi, the as we call it as chungi or toll gate, right? The moment you enter a rural local body, you see a barricade which asks you for paying 60-70 rupees to enter into that local body, to transport some goods, etc. That power has been taken away from urban local bodies and rural local bodies. We call it in English as octroi. Okay, that power was an important source. That octroi power should be given back to these rural local bodies as a source of funds alongside the other devolution. Now, the central government, money is given by the central government to the district level. District level gives me money for schemes like Manrega, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, and things like that. Okay, so that power should be given to rural local bodies. Then another problem with the functionaries is Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana. Even though it is an old scheme now, why Sansad? Sansad means MP. I told you MP is quite far away. Here is the MP sitting in Delhi, not in Delhi, foreign, somewhere else. Sansad, why the Adarsh Gram Yojana should be in the name of Sansad? It should be Sarpanch Adarsh Gram Yojana. I mean, the connotation, the intent here is that actual functionary of the statecraft who is going to stay in the panchayat is Sarpanch and not Sansad. Sansad will be visible only during elections. So that is why we should plan a program which is idealistic, Adarsh, yet practical, yet closer to the people. That's all in this news article. Now moving to the other news article, USAID. Be with me, this is another challenging topic. At a time when India is emerging as a donor itself, two political parties on the basis of this controversy, two national political parties, dominant political parties, are blaming each other. Columbia Analytica, Congress. Facebook-led scam where Congress hired an agency, Columbia Analytica, to study the Facebook profile and on the basis of that canvass Indian voters, Indian Facebook voters, those who are on the Facebook for Congress political party. All right. Now, in the regime of BJP, this news comes that USAID was trying to meddle into Indian elections. Okay. That means canvassing voters to vote more. vote in large numbers. The voters who may not vote should come out voting. This is the crux of it. That controversy that DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, headed by Elon Musk, has found out. Okay, that is why in the news USAID has already been abolished, or it is on the verge of being abolished. Though India would be at a loss insofar as the funding for its crucial programs like WASH, educational programs, AIDS oriented programs, HIV/AIDS eradication program, Cambridge Analytica. Thank you for correcting me. Okay, so that those things are happening, US funded projects, etc. Okay, now the problem here is this article says that Indian government has also armed itself with laws like Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, okay, Foreign Exchange Management Act, to regulate the conduct of NGOs. Why? Because these NGOs are used by the countries like US and UK and EU some extent. What they do is they foist the protests in the states like Tamil Nadu. Okay, because in Tamil Nadu here the reactor was supplied by Russia. Okay, so Russian supplied nuclear reactor, even though the nuclear waiver was given to us by the US. Okay, but the functional nuclear reactor under the civil nuclear waiver that was given by the US is Russian, which is not what is acceptable to the US government. So what they did is in 2012, 13, 14, they started giving money to Amnesty International and Greenpeace mainly. These are American NGOs. Okay, these American NGOs were foisting these protests, instigating these protests, putting fuel to fire, you know, threatening people or instilling a fear in the mind of the people that these reactors, if any disaster happens like Fukushima, like that your Fukushima nuclear disaster, okay, 2011 Japan, so lives of the people would be ruined, and people are living under radiations, the level of radiations which is nuclear radiation level. Okay, so their lives are not safe. What happened? 2-year delay in commissioning of nuclear reactor, which could have supplied 1000 megawatt of power to the Indian automobile industry based out of Chennai, Tamil Nadu, coastal region, make in India, so many things. So that is why what the Ministry of Home Affairs rightfully did is, Ministry of Home Affairs rightfully wrote to Ministry of Finance that there should be an integrated mechanism to grant the license to those NGOs which are getting foreign funding. So what is the statutory requirement? Under Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, NGOs receiving foreign aid, okay, should get annual license renewal from Ministry of Home Affairs on the basis of their bank statement that they have to furnish. This bank statement will carry the details as to from where the funds came and how they are spending the funds. Okay, these details these NGOs do not tell. How the expenditure is happening, how the spend is happening, they do not tell, because they say that they give money for COVID, etc., in cash, because the people they are dealing with, they do not have accounts. Tribal people, bank accounts are not there. That is why they get the money in crores and billions of rupees. Sometimes that money is misused for protests, utilizing India's democracy. Democracy means you have freedom of speech and expression, you have right to protest, but these soft elements of a democracy are used against the democracy India. Right? We are unlike China. China would put its Nobel laureate in jail. But in India, you cannot, with due respect to all these struggles, you cannot put a Naxalite in jail. Okay, people who have been caught in the past, I'm saying it on the basis of that only. Okay, with due respect. So the problem is the good tenets of democracy, the good elements of democracy are being converted into bad elements. That makes us ask another question, Sarji. What is the question? Question is, are we a soft state? What is a soft state? Soft state is one which is harnessed, whose democratic elements, freedom of speech and expression, they are misused to bleed the state economically, to affect the economic prospects of India. Now, to bring down GDP of India, what can you do? You can have economic terrorism, dollar rupee fluctuation, volatility, economic affect. You can economically affect the country. Then you can have terrorism. Pakistan is doing that. All right. China, export oriented terrorism, supply chain disruption. China might stop the supply of your e-wares, electronic wares, whatever. Okay, semiconductors I'm talking about. Then your lithium-ion batteries. China is harming us that way. Pakistan, proxy terrorism. USA, decoupling of Indian rupee and dollar is required, because if dollar is throwing tantrums, that is affecting our monetary policy. Saturday we saw that RBI comes up with the $10 billion injection of money into the Indian financial system, because with no reason dollar is just going up because of the Donald Trump's statements. Fourthly, utilizing a country's own democracy, the good culture, the civic culture, to its disadvantage. Foisting protests around Kudankulam is the best example of it. Okay, now meddling into its elections has come to the news. All right, so this is the phenomena that this particular controversy feeds into. Everything that is happening in the newspaper, guys, that is feeding into terrorism, drug peddling, narco terrorism, you can say that. Okay, so every news type of these type of controversies, they feed into the fundamental micro topics of the syllabus of UPSC. This is what we are trying to decode here. Okay, now ORF has done an analysis which says that, going through the article a bit, this article says that India is using FEMA as a tool, FCRA as a tool, to tame those NGOs which belong to non-friendly countries, not to give them the license. Okay, so what Ministry of Home Affairs has said, that some of the NGOs whose licenses were cancelled, they say that they have the license under FEMA. Under FEMA they are getting the funding, whereas FCRA is regulated by FCRA, Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, is administered by Ministry of Home Affairs. FEMA is Ministry of Finance. FEMA is under Ministry of Finance. So FEMA license is valid, FCRA license cancelled. Okay, so this is the problem that Ministry of Home Affairs has highlighted to regulate the conduct of these type of NGOs, which are meddling into Indian elections, meddling into India's economic growth by giving money to the Protestants, or doing something else, instigating communal riots, asking a particular set of voters to come and vote, okay, against BJP or against Congress, whatever. So this is soft power element that USA is using against India. World's democracy, two democracies, they are doing this. China, that is why China's growth story is better. Even in this economic survey, this year's economic survey has a chapter that democracy has been a barrier, has been a pace slower in India's growth story. Protests, land acquisition issues, these things are being meddled into by NGOs to a great extent. Okay, now here this article says that India itself has evolved into an aid provider, and it is a role that India seeks to expand, giving aid to Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Maldives. Every time our neighboring countries and extended neighboring countries have been into problem, we have extended this aid. Not only the military aid, but the relief aid, the welfare aid, the infrastructure aid in the form of line of credit, in the form of soft loans for Bangladesh, right? So this is the role that India is expanding. Yet at the same time, the political parties are criticizing each other for this US issue, merely on the basis of the statements by the US President Donald Trump that US aid was spending money on meddling into Indian elections. So that there is no criticism of Donald Trump himself for withdrawal of such aid. Got this? Now, moving further. This growing role as a donor nation, India has coincided with stricter regulations. I have explained to you about the regulations, FCRA, etc. However, these regulations have been heavily politicized. Their usage, their application, cancellation of licenses under FCRA, which enable an NGO to get the foreign funding, they are cancelled on the political grounds. entities aligned with the ruling political party, they often get their license renewed very easily. Whereas the entities which are not aligned, they may not get their license easily. Got it? So this is the problem. I think I ended up erroneously touching on the side borders, so that is why. So they face fewer hurdles. Okay, so these NGOs, they face fewer hurdles which are politically aligned with, let's say, political party at the center. Okay, while others, even those engaged in purely apolitical activities, you can say Christian missionaries, etc., sometimes they have been haunted. Now in 2021, in the light of misuse of funds, government said that any NGO director, trustee, office bearer, he has to submit his Aadhaar card, okay, and the number of NGOs he is running, and he should have the SBI account only. He should receive the foreign funds in the SBI account designated, designated SBI account. The branch is at Parliament Street. Okay, so for example, if there is an NGO in Odisha, if it wants to receive foreign funds, let's say 10 lakh rupees, it should have an SBI account in New Delhi branch, Parliament Street. Hectic procedure. You'll have to come to SBI branch every time, for the paper formalities, etc. Even if you are getting 10 lakh rupees as the funding, you will board a train, then come to this country, this part of the country. Okay, India is a big country, but misuse of funds has also been rampant. So this is the problem. So buying a tank, buying a Rafale to damage India is very costly. Rather start an NGO, spend a crore or 2 crore rupees, start giving money 500 rupees each to the stone pelters in Jammu and Kashmir, and your job is done. Got it? Maligning the image of the government. Now this last important article, then we will deal with the medicine related. India-UK FTA. We have been negotiating this for 2 years now. The discussions primarily started after Brexit, Britain's exit from European Union. Okay, Britain was India's gateway to European Union through the London port. London port was the gateway to European Union because since UK, until UK was the part of European Union, there was no tax on the goods entering from UK to rest of the European Union. But since UK exited from the Brexit, the European Union, India had to search for alternate routes also. That is why we talk about international north-south transit corridor. We talk about India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor, wherein we can send our goods via Greece, port of Israel, Haifa, then Greece port, and then onwards to European Union. Okay, so this is one problem, the geographical aspect of it. Another problem is that now UK is also searching for trade partners because UK's trade with European Union has gone down. Dependency was not much. UK is good in selling cars, good manufacturing cars, okay, etc. Then whiskies, good branded whiskies, motorbikes, the branded ones, the higher engine power, etc. They want to sell it to us, but in India, the duty until the arrival of Donald Trump was up to 100%, 200% for these expensive bikes, whiskies, etc. Now, the items on the agenda, because of which we were not able to conclude the talks, last held in May 2024. Okay, March 2024, because both the countries were going towards the elections in 2024, 2025. So that is why the talks were on hold for last 8 months. Now, since the arrival of Donald Trump, UK's another trading partner, USA, is also erecting tariff walls. Donald Trump is going to have higher taxes for goods coming from UK also. That is why a new gush of energy is being witnessed in India-UK FTA. Now, what are the hitch points? What are the major problematic areas? We are one of the populous countries of the world. We tell people, you can get people from us. We are a populous country. We have engineers, we have doctors, not doctors, sorry, not even teachers. We have engineers and engineers, right? Financial analysts, BPO call center people, BPO services. So we want that countries can export people from us. We can export people to these countries, but these countries, UK is afraid of giving lenient treatment to Indians, because that was one of the reasons for UK to exit from European Union. Many of the European Union countries people, the poor countries, pigs countries, Portugal, Ireland, Italy, Greece, Spain, and even from Germany nowadays, they were migrating to UK, London, or rest of the UK because of better opportunities. UK wanted to save the jobs emanating from UK for its own people, cheap labor, right? If I were to say one line in Hindi, it's I'm not allowed to as per my mandate. हम कहते हैं हमारे लोग ले लो, वो कहते हैं हमारी कारें ले लो. What my point? हम कहते हैं कारें चलाने के लिए लोग ले लो, ड्राइवर ले लो, बट वो कहते हैं नहीं, सिर्फ कारें ले लो. This is the problem. Okay, they insist on selling cars to us. We insist on selling our people, laborers, uh, as I said before. Okay, now coming back here. Now, one of the proposals for UK was that 100% liberalization in insurance sector should be there. UK has got big insurance companies and India's insurance density ratio is very poor. Okay, tell me what is the meaning of insurance density and what is the insurance density ratio of India. Okay, so insurance density term was explained after budget had come. Please answer that and please look back and check and revise your notebook also. So these are the problems. Okay, lower duties on cars and insurance liberalization addresses some of the key demands of UK, which has already been met because of the pressure from Donald Trump. Donald Trump says that India has to reduce tariffs. Because of US, we are reducing tariff. Because of which UK is indirectly going to get benefits. Many of its terms and conditions have already been met. Insurance, 100% FDI has now been allowed via budget, which was one of the key demands of UK. But our demands have been unmet. So many German car companies, because of which EU FTA is also stuck. Germany also insists on free or you can say zero customs duty for heavy machinery. Bosch, German company. You must have heard the name in toolkit, etc. Washing machines, cranes. Okay, now Bombardier and other metro rail corporation supplies come from European Union mainly. But we impose a heavy tariff on that. That is why India EU FTA is also not seeing the light of the day. That is why UK also. Okay, so these things are there. Now another problem is carbon tax. European Union and UK both, they impose carbon tax. For example, how do they impose carbon tax? For example, if goods are being made in UK, in India, okay, goods coming from India going to UK here, sorry for the bad drawing here, right? Goods coming from, I respect India as much as anybody else. It's just about the time bound manner that, okay, now if the aluminium or steel, etc., is being made in India by burning heavy fossil fuels, okay, so this carbon tax will be imposed here. Now the good thing is it will be on a percentage basis, not on the per kg basis or something. Okay, not on quintal basis or tons basis, not on quintal basis, percentage basis, yes. So this is the good thing. But in European Union, rest of the European Union, the problem is we are not able to conclude FTA because here it is on per ton basis. Carbon tax is on per ton basis. This is detrimental, more detrimental. Percentage basis is still better. Okay, percentage basis is on the basis of the price that you are charging. Percentage of price 0.5%, 0.2%, which is beneficial. But per ton is, even if the vendor, even if the seller from India, the exporter from India is not getting a good price, per ton basis is 100 rupees per ton, for example. This is going to be a problem, right? These are the areas. Now, insofar as the trading is concerned, India is the 16th largest trading partner for UK, 16th largest, okay? Kindly jot it down. India's 16th largest partner for UK, and the total trade between the two countries is $15 billion. Second fact, the trade is so skewed that $9.6 billion is for India and around $5.4 billion is from exports are from UK. Okay, so $9.6 billion worth of exports from India to UK and $5.4 billion worth of imports by India from UK, total $15 billion, right? So this is there. Now coming to another important thing, carbon border adjustment mechanism. So I have explained it to you. The text is there on the slide. Download the PDF in a short while from now from the Telegram channel, the link of which is given in the description box below. Moving further quickly, Health Ministry bans export of drugs containing Tapentadol and Carisoprodol. Okay, Tapentadol and Carisoprodol. So these are this Tapentadol is opioid medication that is used for pain relieving. This one, Carisoprodol, is a muscle relaxant. In case of pain in muscle, etc., this relaxes the muscle in the sense that the person would not feel much of the pain by numbing the central nervous system. Carisoprodol harms the, or you can say numbs the brain area which feels the pain. Entire pain while studying also is in the brain only, right? So the point is, these two drugs when mixed together can lead to central nervous system freeze in a way, right? Harmful effects are there. So person could get paralyzed, etc. These are the harmful effects which are not given in your news today. So we have covered that also. However, the combination is harmful, okay, is not approved in India. Some of the companies exceeding the limit, exceeding the standards prescribed by Central Drug Standards Control Organization, they started producing it. Okay, these combination, mixing the two drugs together, that is the problem. And then they did not sell it in India because they would be caught. They started selling it to the poor West African countries. WHO has already cautioned India, has already in a way blamed and blemished India, insulted India, that it is selling cheap, inferior, unapproved drugs to West African countries. This is the third instance of this thing in the last 2 years. Even though WHO has not said anything as of now, okay, central nervous system, depression can happen, ingestion of this Tapentadol and Carisoprodol can lead to these side effects. One thing. Now, how do we regulate drugs in India? The last thing for the day, Central Drug Standards Control Organization prescribes the standards like expiry date, mixture, how can you mix the combination as we call it, okay, in the technical parlance, combination of two drugs, what should be the percentage ratio, okay, two signs here, ratio 1:1 or something like that. Then approval to the drugs, okay, it submits the report, then only Drug Controller General of India, DCGI, gives the report. Okay, now on a funny side, the names of these bodies are so funny. You talk about Central Drug Standards Control Organization, disco, right? Why do I say disco? It dances on the tunes of DCGI, then Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Okay, then I gave you the other funny name also. The name was FSSAI, right? Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. Kisne hai FSSAI? Got my point? Then try, regulator, try and try again. You will definitely get the success next life in regulating Geo's tariff war. Right? You quite acquainted with these examples now. Then we have come across another body. Dil mein mere hai dard hai disco, about these bodies. Central Drug Standards Control Organization, on a lighter note. You have to understand the point here. Now, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare regulates them. Okay. Then the third body is NAPA, National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority, which comes up with the national list of essential medicines. The medicines that are added to the national list of essential medicines, they are available at a cheaper price for the poor people to have affordable treatment. Okay, these are the three bodies we have very briefly talked about. You should be aware of the drugs regulation landscape, the institutional mechanism. Central Drug Standards Control Organization comes up with the criteria as to, before getting approved, the drug should have been tested on sample size at least 10,000 people. Their side effects, their study, etc. should be noted. And then finally, after meeting all the criteria, it is sent to Drug Controller General of India. Okay. This was all in today's news analysis. It was a pleasure teaching you guys. Thank you, everyone. We'll keep on adding some more elements of analysis every day. I can assure you one thing, factual memorization part is up to you. Our role as a teacher is 20-30% insofar as factual part is concerned. Memorizing of these names of drugs or anything, articles of constitution, economy, regulatory bodies is up to you. When it comes to the analysis part, my role increases, and I can assure you, in this manner we can prepare in an integrated manner for both prelims and mains every day. I will decode one or the other section of the exam one or the other topic in a threadbare manner. Okay, completely laying bare all the tenets of the topic will be my job here. This is all. This is the only assurance. Answer all the questions that I give on a daily basis in the comment section so that you also feel energized. Okay, yes, you have done your part. Otherwise, you will be a passive learner. MCQs are there, not there today because one of our teammates was absent today. The one who makes the PPT along with me in the morning. Okay, so he does some part of the role, I do some part, analysis part is mine. So today MCQs are not there, but they are there every day. Whatever questions I've asked, please answer those questions at least. MCQs for today aside, the verbal that questions that I've asked, please answer them at least. MORD, etc., etc. With this, I take your leave for the day. Thank you. Bye bye, guys. Thank you.